What if I told you that one simple habit is quietly draining your energy, killing your confidence, and keeping you stuck in a life cycle that seems impossible to escape? I'm talking about excessive digital stimulation and instant gratification, particularly pornography and mindless scrolling on social media that hijack your brain's reward system. Through my own journey and the wisdom of ancient Stoics, I discovered how breaking free from these dopamine traps transformed not just my life, but the lives of thousands of others. Stay with me to learn the 3 Stoic principles that can help you reclaim your potential and redirect your energy toward greatness. If you're already finding value in these initial words, help us reach 1,000 subscribers by clicking the subscribe button now. And let's begin this journey together. The problem: identifying the dopamine trap. Let's be honest about something many of us struggle with, but few discuss openly. Our relationship with instant gratification, particularly through pornography and mindless social media consumption. You've likely felt it, that sense of guilt, that lack of motivation after hours of scrolling or watching content that provides quick pleasure but no lasting satisfaction. That feeling of emptiness, like something inside you is slipping away. But why exactly does this happen? Neuroscience gives us clear answers. Each time you engage in these dopamine-triggering activities, your brain releases a surge of pleasure chemicals. This isn't inherently bad. Dopamine is essential for motivation. The problem occurs when we repeatedly trigger these massive dopamine spikes through artificial means. Dr. Anna Lemke, addiction psychiatrist at Stanford, explains it clearly in her research. The brain adapts to these supernormal stimuli by downregulating dopamine receptors, leaving us feeling flat, unmotivated, and unable to enjoy the simpler pleasures of life. I experienced this firsthand. 3 years ago, I was spending 3 to 4 hours daily between social media and adult content. Despite having goals and ambitions, I couldn't find a motivation to pursue them. My relationships suffered. My work suffered. Most importantly, my relationship with myself suffered. The Stoics understood this problem long before modern neuroscience. They recognized that being controlled by pleasure-seeking behaviors wasn't just about morality, it was about freedom. As Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." And that's exactly what happens when you let these dopamine hijacking habits control you. Every time you give in to the quick dopamine hit rather than pursuing something of real value, you reinforce a mindset of immediate gratification. You tell yourself, "I need this right now," when in reality, it's controlling you. If you're finding this valuable so far, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers who want to live more intentionally and with greater self-mastery. The Stoic wisdom: understanding the freedom of self-control. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome and dedicated Stoic philosopher, wrote in his personal journals, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This gets to the heart of what the Stoics understood. True power comes from mastering yourself, not external circumstances. They didn't view self-discipline as restriction, but as the path to genuine freedom. Let me share a personal story. When I first attempted to break my dependence on these dopamine-triggering habits, I lasted only 3 days before returning to them. I felt weak, defeated, but then I discovered something in the Stoic writings that changed my perspective. Epictetus, who was born a slave and later became a respected philosopher, wrote, "No man is free who cannot command himself." This struck me deeply. I realized I wasn't actually free to choose my actions. I was being driven by impulses and temporary desires rather than my deeper values. This shift in perspective was crucial. Instead of seeing discipline as deprivation, I began to view it as reclaiming my ability to choose. Each time I resisted the urge for quick stimulation, I wasn't denying myself pleasure. I was exercising my freedom to choose what's truly valuable over what's merely easy. And there's modern evidence supporting this ancient wisdom. Studies on delayed gratification, like the famous marshmallow experiment at Stanford, consistently show that the ability to postpone immediate rewards for greater future benefits correlates strongly with success in life, better relationships, and even improved physical health. The Stoics weren't asking us to deny our humanity. They were showing us how to be more fully human by using reason to guide our actions rather than being swept along by every impulse. If you're finding these insights helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. Every subscription brings us closer to our goal of 1,000 subscribers and helps us continue creating content that combines ancient wisdom with modern science. 3 Stoic principles for breaking free. So how do you escape this trap? How do you take back control and break free from habits that have been holding you back? Through my journey and working with hundreds of others, I found that 3 Stoic principles are particularly powerful. 1. Practice self-discipline, the key to freedom. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Self-discipline isn't about white-knuckling through life or denying yourself pleasure. It's about aligning your actions with your deeper values and goals. Here's a practical approach that worked for me and many others. Start with small, achievable challenges. The ancient Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, like taking cold showers or fasting for a day, not as punishment, but as training for self-mastery. Try this. For 1 week, delay checking your phone for the first hour after waking. Use that time for reflection, exercise, or reading instead. This small act of discipline builds the mental muscles needed for bigger challenges. As Dr. Kelly McGonigal's research shows, willpower functions much like a muscle. It strengthens with regular exercise. Each small victory over impulse makes the next challenge easier. What many don't realize is that self-discipline actually liberates us from the exhausting cycle of constant decision-making. When you establish intentional routines and deliberate habits, you save your mental energy for the decisions that truly matter. It's like putting your finances on autopilot through automatic investments. You set an intention once and then reap the benefits repeatedly. Practical exercise. Identify one specific action you'll do every morning before looking at any screen. It could be meditating for 10 minutes, doing 20 push-ups, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for. The content is less important than the commitment. You're training your ability to choose intentionally rather than react habitually. 2. Finding purpose. Replace the habit with something greater. The Stoics believe that a life without purpose is a life wasted. In my own journey, I discovered that simply trying to stop my dopamine-seeking behaviors wasn't enough. I needed something meaningful to redirect my energy toward. Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, echoed this Stoic principle when he wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." Ask yourself, what deeply meaningful goal could you pursue with the time and energy you're currently spending on quick dopamine hits? For me, it was writing and sharing these philosophical insights. For others I've worked with, it's been building businesses, creating art, strengthening relationships, or contributing to causes larger than themselves. The key is to replace the habit with something that gives you a genuine sense of fulfillment, the kind that comes from growth and contribution, not just consumption. When you're working towards something meaningful, the pull of empty distractions naturally weakens. As Seneca advised, the time will come when you'll be amazed at how much of your life was wasted on things that ultimately didn't matter. It's important to understand that purpose doesn't need to be grandiose or world-saving. For some, it might be mindfully raising children. For others, it might be mastering a craft or perfecting a skill. What matters is that the purpose resonates with your deepest values and provide a North Star for your daily decisions. Mental experiment. Imagine you have only 5 years left to live. How would you use your time? Which relationships would you cultivate? What skills or projects would you prioritize? Often, this exercise quickly clarifies what truly matters to us versus what simply fills our time. If you're finding value in these insights, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We're working toward 1,000 subscribers who are committed to personal growth and living with greater intention. 3. Energy transmutation, redirecting your vital force. The third principle builds on the previous 2, learning to redirect or transmute your natural drive and energy into productive pursuits. Many great thinkers and creators throughout history, from Leonardo da Vinci to Nikola Tesla, understood that sexual and creative energy come from the same source. Tesla once noted that his celibacy was connected to his creative power, saying, "I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men." While complete abstinence isn't necessary or realistic for most, the principle of transmutation remains powerful. When you feel the urge for quick stimulation, recognize it as energy-seeking expression, then consciously redirect it. This could mean channeling physical energy into exercise or movement, directing creative impulses into writing, music, or art, converting emotional energy into meaningful conversations or service to others. I've found that intense exercise is particularly effective for transmutation. A vigorous workout can reset your neurochemistry and redirect that energy in constructive ways. Dr. Andrew Huberman, Stanford neuroscientist, confirms this approach works. Physical exertion triggers many of the same reward pathways as other dopamine-releasing activities, but with positive benefits rather than the downsides of supernormal stimuli. It's important to understand the difference between suppression and transmutation. Suppressing natural desires only increases their intensity over time, like trying to push a ball underwater, which eventually explodes upward with doubled force. Transmutation, on the other hand, acknowledges that energy and intentionally channels it. An example I often use: if you feel the urge to check your social media during a work session, this might indicate that your brain needs a state change. Rather than repressing the impulse, which leads to internal distraction, or giving into it, which wastes time, use it as a signal to stand up, do 20 jumping jacks, take a deep breath, and then return to work. You've used the energy of the impulse rather than fighting it or surrendering to it. The transformation: what happens when you break free? Imagine waking up each day with clear mental focus, sustained energy, and the quiet confidence that comes from being in control of your actions rather than controlled by impulses. This isn't just philosophical theory. It's supported by concrete changes many experience when breaking free from dopamine dependency. Increased dopamine sensitivity: research shows that after a period of abstaining from supernormal stimuli, the brain's natural reward system recalibrates. Activities that previously seemed boring, reading, conversation, natural beauty, become genuinely pleasurable again. Improved focus and concentration: studies demonstrate that excessive pornography consumption and social media use correlate with attention problems. When you reduce these, many report significant improvements in their ability to focus. Greater emotional regulation: the practice of delaying gratification strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for emotional control and decision-making. More authentic relationships: as you become less dependent on digital stimulation, many find they connect more deeply with real people in their lives. Increased resilience: the ability to say no to immediate impulses creates a stronger psychological foundation. You begin to see yourself as someone who can endure discomfort for the sake of a greater benefit, which translates to all areas of life. Deeper connection with yourself: many report a sense of living more aligned with their deepest values, leading to a greater sense of personal integrity and purpose. Let me share Adam's story, a software engineer I worked with. After years of porn and social media addiction, he described himself as emotionally numb and unable to maintain relationships. 6 months after implementing these Stoic principles, he told me, "For the first time in my adult life, I feel present. I'm writing code better than ever. I'm connecting with people, and I actually feel things deeply again." Hall, a 35-year-old entrepreneur, struggled with chronic procrastination and dopamine cycles for over a decade. He describes the shift. "For the first 30 days, it was brutal. My brain was screaming for stimuli. But around day 45, something changed. I started enjoying simple things again. Food tasted richer. Conversations became more engaging, and I had this steady feeling of clarity I hadn't experienced since childhood." This transformation isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming more intentional, more present, and more aligned with your deeper values. It's about regaining control over what you pay attention to, how you invest your energy, and ultimately, who you become. As you progress on this journey, you might notice interesting phenomena described by many who practice dopamine control. The Day 7 Clarity. Approximately 1 week after severely reducing supernormal stimuli, many report a sudden mental clarity and energy boost. Flatline. Around 2 to 3 weeks, you might experience a temporary period of reduced energy and low mood as your brain recalibrates. Naturalistic reset. After approximately 90 days, many report that their responses to natural stimuli, human connection, achievements, beauty, return to healthy levels. If you've stayed with me this far and haven't subscribed yet, consider joining our community as we work toward 1,000 subscribers. Your support helps us continue sharing this life-changing content. The challenge, your path forward. Now the question is, will you stay trapped in the cycle of dopamine dependency, or will you take the first step toward greater self-mastery? The choice is yours, but remember what Marcus Aurelius wrote. You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Here's a simple challenge to begin your journey. For the next 7 days, commit to reducing one dopamine-triggering habit by 50%. Whether it's social media, pornography, video games, or another source of instant gratification, cut your time with it in half. In a space created, implement one small practice from Stoic philosophy. Spend 10 minutes each morning journaling about your intentions for the day. Take a brief walk without your phone, practicing present moment awareness. Read a few pages from Stoic texts like meditations, discourses, or letters. Document how you feel at the end of the week. Many report surprising changes even in this short period. Greater mental clarity, improved mood, and a sense of accomplishment that no amount of passive consumption can provide. To increase your chances of success, consider these additional strategies that have worked for many. Modified environment. The Stoics understood that our willpower is finite. Remove temptations from your environment when possible. This might mean using content blockers, keeping devices out of the bedroom, or creating physical spaces dedicated to specific activities. Accountability. Share your commitment with a trusted friend or partner who will check on your progress. Social awareness is a powerful behavioral motivator. Daily tracking. Keep a simple record of your wins and struggles. This kind of self-observation not only increases accountability, but also allows you to identify patterns and triggers. Gradual commitment. If 50% seems overwhelming, start with 25%. The goal isn't perfection, but consistent progress in the right direction. Remember Seneca's words. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Taking this first step might seem challenging, but each small victory builds momentum for the next. Conclusion. The wisdom we can take forward. As we conclude, let's distill the key lessons from this Stoic approach to breaking free from dopamine dependency. True freedom comes from self-mastery, not indulgence. The ability to choose your actions based on values rather than impulses is the essence of human liberty. Purpose provides direction for our natural energies. Without meaningful pursuits, we default to the path of least resistance, usually quick pleasure that leaves us feeling empty. Energy is never destroyed, only redirected. The same force that pulls you toward distraction can be channeled into creation, connection, and contribution. Small, consistent choices reshape your character over time. As Aristotle, a philosophical influence on the Stoics, noted, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. The struggle is universal and timeless. From ancient Rome to today's digital age, humans have always faced the challenge of managing their desires. You are not alone in this journey. We seek not suppression, but integration. The goal isn't to eliminate natural human desires, but to integrate them into a balanced life that honors our rational and animal natures. The process is gradual and personal. Each person has their own pace of change and unique set of challenges. Be patient with yourself as you navigate this path. Self-mastery creates a cascade effect. When you gain control in one area, it often spreads to other parts of your life, creating a virtuous cycle of growth and improvement. These principles have transformed countless lives throughout history, including my own. They offer a path not of restriction, but of expansion, expanding your capacity for focus, connection, creativity, and genuine fulfillment. If you found value in this exploration of Stoic wisdom, please help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel now. Your support makes this content possible. And if you're ready to dive deeper into applying these principles in your life, click on the card appearing now to watch our next video on practical Stoic exercises for daily life. Remember the words of Epictetus. First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Your journey to self-mastery starts now.